All right, welcome to the stream. Trying to just mess around with the creator dashboard. I haven't figured out a way that allows me to do all this, while I have like painting and stuff going on, but that's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll just figure it out. All right, so last time we were together, I was working on this painting of Fortuna, the goddess of Roman chants, and I've also been working on some pigeons. They're not totally done yet. I might actually end up working on these later on, but that's fine. Whatevs. Actually might get these. So, Fortuna, I was actually staring at this thing a lot today. I hate it, and I realize why now. It's a little silly, but I'm wearing this nice cat shirt, and no one can see it. Oh, can you see my cat shirt? Oh, there's too much of a delay for me to figure this out. All right. Her arms are way too short and her body is way too thin for the size of her head. So I definitely need to increase a little bit of her. I thought, oh, maybe decrease her size. And I was like, no, I'm kind of digging this. The one part I like about this thing is the face. I just have the red. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna expand. I'm actually gonna paint over some of her details from last time, and then I'm going to do a little bit of painting. Uh-oh. Did I put the sound on? Let me see. Yeah, no, we're working on sound. Good. All right. So I'm actually going to paint over her arms just to get rid of them. I definitely need to extend her arms. I'm actually thinking I was inspired by this statue of Oshun. I think Oshun in my girlfriend's apartment in Chicago, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of a neat idea. I'm still got to make a painting for Oshun, but I was actually thinking I might actually have Fortuna holding a statue of Oshun. I thought it'd be kind of neat, the idea of like one deity, like, representing, or maybe even looking at Oshun as almost like an aspect of Fortuna. I don't know. I've always liked the idea of it, like gods being somewhat interchangeable. All right, this person keeps texting me. So now Fortuna has no arms. She really needs to be a lot wider. I realize now that I made her like too narrow. I really should kind of get the arms out like here as I wipe some of this gray onto my hands. But that's all right. That's part of the process, baby. I know you're thinking, Dave, you're so. Oh God. See, I'm trying to do David, which is nice because a lot of my coworkers are actually referring to me as David, which is nice, but I'm still kind of Dave in my own mind, but that's okay. I don't know. As I always explain to my friends, like, yeah, Dave's fine. Dave's a good guy. But David is trustworthy. David has a graduate degree. David is been an educator for whatever, what do you call it? 16 years officially. But Dave's a nice guy, though. You know, it's not, just doesn't sound professional. And I go to like these art shows and these art events, and they're like, "Oh, here's Dave Lamorte." Like, yeah, I get it. It's my name, but like, I don't know if I can trust. Would you? I don't trust Dave. David, I feel like he's responsible, but Dave, I don't know. It's a little bit deeper than I'd like it to be. I was thinking this is almost going to be like kind of like a puffy top to the same dress, but also pretty sure I have no yellow in my entire house, which I found out today. Well, I was desperately trying to make some orange before to work on them pigeons. Right? I got no yellow. I thought I had yellow. I really thought I had yellow. I guess I have this Naples yellow, which is kind of like, oh, I guess I have this yellow. It's what do you call it? Yellow light Hansa. It's pretty weak. I'm gonna probably switch the dress to being orange, but it's just easier for me to do it. Maybe I should make the whole thing red, but all right. I can't do this too long today because of tomorrow is the first day of school. Well, it's not my first day of school. I've been in school for a few days, but it's the first day the kids come to Elizabeth or to nondescript educational system that I may or may not work in, that I do not represent the feelings or emotions of. And I spent all day painting because we're working on this project. There's going to be like a big celebration for the military that we're going to be involved in. It's probably going to be online soon enough, but I'm going to be KG anyway. And we were making decorations for that to honor. I don't think veterans. I think active service members, but and they came out great. But I'm exhausted, and I have to be on all day tomorrow, so I really need to get to bed sooner rather than later. I think going to bed like at 11 is probably going to be pushing it. But I worked on this robot sculpture in the basement all last night, so that kind of almost made me late to work today. Actually, no, I was late to work today because it took like 45 minutes to find a parking spot. But it was worth it. I eventually... Oh, no, actually, no, it wasn't worth it. I eventually gave up and just parked on a parking deck. Which I should have just... Actually, I really like that yellow. It's a little jaundiced looking. Oh, this light. I'm missing a piece of it. That's too much of a glare. Alright, I'll leave it like that, and then we'll see how it looks later on. Nah, it's too bright. Alright, that's good enough for now. A little bit more yellow. I'm gonna have to order more yellow. But, yeah, the music teachers were probably really jealous watching us paint all day. I mean, I was great, but like, oh my god, doing it outside was a lot for me. I'm getting old. And galleries. You say we. I don't know if this is the royal we, Frank, or you mean you and Lane. Either way, I'm excited. I don't know. I was trying to explain this to one of my kids today. Like, I have the whole Cryptid Mountain project that I'm working on my YouTube channel, and with summer school ending and um, what do you call it? And then going to Camp Fatima, and then almost instantly going to visit Chicago, I had no time. I had very little time to write, and I then realized as I was sitting down to write the last episode of the Cryptid Mountain Saga that I was not going to see. I wasn't going to have. I hate using the word custody, but I share custody with my kids, and just the way our holiday schedule ran, I wasn't going to see them for weeks. At least I was going to have them overnight for weeks, and I really can't do. I don't like rushing the recording with my kids. Um, I really feel like if I'm going to have, if I'm going to make these children perform for me, not just as their father, but as their director. Oh, this is the wrong one. This is not the orange. This is the Naples yellow. Where's the orange? If I really want to honor their performance, I need to give them time, and I can't rush it. They're young, they're minors, and if I'm going to be making them do the work, right? Like, look, my father made me dig ditches in our yard. I had to like move mulch. The only time I ever went to sleepaway camp was the year my father got a cubic truck ton. I don't even know how much it was. It was an enormous diesel truck that dropped over a mountain of mulch in our driveway that had to have been when I left. It was taller than me, but by the time I came home from camp, it was about my height. Um, so like I don't have manual labor for my kids to do. They have chores. That's not the same thing, you know. But yeah, I got to get down to in galleries. We have to talk, Frank. You and I. I'll text you tomorrow for real though. About your and your lady's schedule, like non-art stuff, like friend stuff, because I've just been dropping the ball because of work, trying to get my act together, and my act is definitely not together. Ugh, I love how this weird texture is kind of working. Sometimes when you're working with spray paint, you get this kind of artifacting kind of feel, and I'm kind of getting it here. The texture on this thing is so dense. This painting has been painted over. I don't know if I did this with hot. I think I painted part of this with hot glue at one point. I don't know what I was doing with this dang thing, but big old butt. Oh, you know what I need to do? I need to figure out how to put the chat in the video. I'm gonna have to wait till the weekend though to figure that out. I gotta focus on actual work here. But I'm working on prepping for Cryptid Drawing Club's Cryptoween. I post it on my Instagram, Instagram.com/DavidLamorte. Cryptoween is my annual celebration of all things cryptids. You don't have to believe in cryptids. It's just about taking these weird, strange animals that may or may not exist and drawing one for every day in the month of October, with the exception of Halloween. You got to enjoy Halloween. But I do it every year. I've done it. This will be year 3, I believe, of Cryptoween and Cryptidween, and I have posted up on the Cryptid Drawing Club And on davidlamorte at Instagram.com, you can see the cryptid charcoal. I should probably put it up here. We should definitely do a few drawings. I don't think I'm going to have the energy to spend drawing each one. I'll probably put up YouTube videos. Is that wide enough? Sometimes when I draw women, I don't feel like I give enough room for their organs. Like, I don't know. I've been brainwashed by the fashion industry to think that all women are basically like rail thin. So I try and make my women slightly thicker, to account for things like bones and blood and vital organs. Sorry, I'm trying to practice my teacher voice. Yeah, so Fortuna so far. This is kind of a takeoff the Oshun painting, sculpture that my girlfriend has. Which, of course, I disrespectfully was playing with some of the stuff that was on. I don't know, there's like she's not particularly religious, and I was raised Catholic. I should have known better. But I go into her room. There's like this nice little setup, this little snack table with a bunch of like nice rocks and acorns and little pictures, a thing of change and money in it, and a statue. And of course, I start playing with some of the knickknacks on there. I don't want to get into it too detailed about what kind of knickknacks they are, because that's between, that's private. But I didn't know what I was looking at till I took a step back. I'm like, oh, this is a shrine. Did I just like disrespect this shrine without realizing it? Did I just see a shiny rock and pick it up because I am essentially a 41-year-old child? Sure. Then I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I complimented the statue, and then I admitted to Katie that I had been touching it. Because, you don't lie. If you've ever seen any horror movies, you don't lie about making mistakes. So I said, all right, well, here's what I'm going to do. Since I may have been slightly disrespectful to this statue unknowingly, I'm gonna paint her a little painting that we can put on there. So this is actually kind of inspired by that idea. Of course, this painting is bigger than the whole tray. So this would be a terrible painting to be putting into Oshun's shrine, or whatever you want to call it. I don't really have a better word than that. But I thought, oh, let me work this out. I'm not going to see Katie until October anyway, so it gives me some time to think of something appropriate. I have some smaller canvases. I thought like something like this would be a good choice because it's square, and also this thing is like 1.5 inches deep and only like 3 or 4 inches wide. So even if Katie wants, she could just sit this on the little thing. It wouldn't take up a ton of room. Or I had these little cutting boards that I bought from Aldi a long time ago. But, alright, I digress. Of course, that's what you're here for. If you are riding the Dave Lamorte train, you know that it is going to get tangential. Oh my gosh, why did I leave the white over here? Yeah, I was painting these pigeons before while I was hanging out with my kids while they were over. In my defense, one of my kids was drawing, and I got jealous, so I started drawing too. And of course, I worked on the pigeons. I had already done this, and I really just painted the beaks orange. When you are spending time with your kids, it doesn't always have to be, it doesn't always have to be like 100% engaging. Like this whole idea of quality time versus quantity time, right? I think it's a misnomer. Like you want to have a lot of quantity time with your children because like that's how they so they can get acclimated to you, and it's how you know they know that you'll be there, metaphorically because you were there, literally. But also, I find that um, does that arm look normal? No, I hate this arm actually. I find that I really should have made that. I'm gonna make it go. I mean, the quality time is important. Like, you do want to spend time doing things with your kids. I mean, it's good to do things they like doing. I always try and do things that they're into, but it's also good to do things that you're into. Because, if you have children, you want to show them that they're a whole person. You're a whole person because you want them to be a whole person, right? You want your kids to have interests and follow their passions. You should show them that you also have your own passions. And this is not like, I don't mean to be judgmental, but like, it doesn't have to be like fancy schmancy. It can be anything. Like, oh, you like baseball? Go play catch with one of your kids. Take them to a baseball game. Some of my, I would say my best memories of my father happened at New York Jets games, but I have a lot of good memories of him and my uncle and my uncle's father, who's technically, I guess, my uncle, even though he's not my uncle. Whatever, it's complicated. It's not really not that complicated. I don't necessarily. It's not like my warmest memories of them, but I have a lot of positive memories of spending time with them. You know, and it gave me a love of sport. Sport. That sounds so strange saying it like that. A love of sports. I became British all of a sudden. But yeah, I wanted one arm to be up. I really like drawing my characters. Like, if I do a quick sketch of, there's always usually an arm up. Like when I was a kid and I'd paint or draw, really. I would often have my characters doing things. Part of it was a way of like showing the depth of stuff. I'm definitely doing more Cryptid Mountain stuff with the kids. I've been talking since Frank, you're like one of the few people who's alive here. One of the things my kids and I've been talking about is doing a puppet show or doing masks, because I find the best stuff that comes out of Cryptid Mountain is the performance part. My editing is clearly terrible. Like, I will argue that if you watch Cryptid Mountain, anything that you could argue is unwatchable, or anything that is like rough to watch or is not, I'll be kind to myself. The parts that are least engaging are the parts where I'm editing to try and scrape the narrative together. My editing is terribly clunky. And when I mean editing, I mean like my ability to shoot video, to shoot B-roll or coverage or whatever you call it. And I don't have the patience I probably should have to do it. But I would argue that some of the best parts, the writing, I will stand by the writing. I actually think the writing it's not clearly not professional, but I'm proud of it. But the performance is easily the best part. Like, the best part is like getting my kids to finally do the correct inflections to really sell the jokes. That stuff, like, I will stand by that till the day I die. That I think some of that stuff is like the best parts of this whole project. So my thought is like, oh well, maybe we should do like a puppet show, like maybe doing like paper puppets, so we can just do the performances live, like, or if nothing else, live to video, and then cut out the fat later on, and then post those up. I don't want my kids are underage. I don't want to put them online. I'm just not comfortable doing that. Definitely not their faces. Like every once in a while, they'll show up on Facebook in the background of someone else's event or in a local paper or whatever. Like it's 2024. You know, the internet's everywhere. But I personally feel like it's not appropriate for kids their age to be on the internet. So I want to try and I love doing it, but the thing that takes the longest amount of time is the editing. It takes me less time to. I can write if I get in the right mood. I could bang out an entire episode. I mean, these things are only like, what, 5 minutes long. I can really bang out a decently written episode in an afternoon, and that's with like editing my work for clarity too. My ability to write dialogue is better. It's gotten better. And am I writing anything earth-shattering? No, but it's pretty good. I stand by that. I'm proud. I'm genuinely proud of that. But and a big old BUT is that the best part is easily the performances. Oh my god. I was just talking about Boney, and so when I did Catacombs, the show of all of the paper skulls at sorry, I'm getting distracted by mixing the paint at M Galleries at the Arboretum in the Wopong Powhatan. I can't remember how to pronounce it all of a sudden. At the Arboretum at the at M Galleries Extension Gallery in Washington, New Jersey. Frank and I were talking about the artist talk, and I thought it'd be funny to have a puppet that represented the audience, and I literally made a hand puppet out of 2 pieces of brown felt that I painted black and then painted a skeleton on, called Boney. And for an hour and 15 minutes, I kept my right hand bent at an almost perfectly 90-degree angle while I did my artist talk, and it was. Oh, what a dumb idea that he and I executed so well. It was like ridiculous. Like, it was ridiculous, but it did. I was gonna originally give Boney like a scratchy voice, and then I realized I could not keep that up. So I gave Boney, but I just talked as Boney, and I moved Boney up and down while like back and forth while Boney asked me pointed questions, and I think the good part about having Boney there was I was able to ask questions that I want. It was my way of, if I got like interrupting my own train of thought so that I could get back to focus on the parts of the show that maybe other people didn't understand. So Boney was supposed to be like a stand-in for Frank and really the wider audience at the show, but I was able to ask things almost in like a rude manner, or I could literally challenge myself through the puppet, and then and I went through questions that Frank and I kind of went through together, and so it was great because then I didn't have to worry about people asking me the right questions. I literally could ask myself the questions I wanted to be asked, the questions I was already prepared for. While also, making the performance kind of more than just a straightforward artist talk. Speaking of which, Frank just dropped the link in the chat. I am definitely going to have to. I might have to try and download that. I kind of want to do like a supercut. Like, I don't want to steal the whole video because I always like showing the whole thing of everything. And it's not that long of a video. It's like maybe an hour. But I think it'd be fun to like put a highlight video together of Boney. Also, Boney is missing. FYI, Frank. I know you I literally performed in the gallery. I know I can steal whatever I want from you. Vice versa. We've been friends a long time. But Boney's missing. So one of the next thing after I finish making my Jersey Devil puppet. Let me bring that out over here. I made one for Alex. Oh my gosh, what is Alex's last name? Alex Dawson. And I made a little Jersey Devil puppet, and I gave it to him. He's doing this show called The Devil and Daisy, Dirt. It's basically a story about a diner waitress who finds the Jersey Devil and saves him from a Jersey Devil hunt. And this is the second one I made because I wanted to make... This is the first one? No, this is the second one. I think I gave Alex the original one at one of his shows. He does this thing called Raconteur Radio in it's called the Raconteur. It's basically a reimagining of the word Raconteur. He had a bookstore in Metuchen, which I loved, but he closed the bookstore because the bookstore became kind of a hindrance to his actual writing practice. And I kind of scoffed when he said that in, I'm going to say 2010, right? Because I think I was going to invite him on my old podcast, and then he was busy because his kid was born. And that makes sense because it was right around the time one of my kids was born. I won't say how many years I don't want to dox my own children, but it was very close to Hurricane Superstorm Sandy. And then we never really talked officially. But I'm definitely going to make another Boney. I'm going to make Boney 2.0, a bigger, better Boney. We have the technology to rebuild him. Or them. I don't know. Maybe Boney's going to be non-binary. Who knows? Because if you go to Cryptid Mountain, David Lamorte, youtube.com/David Lamorte. Some of the characters are non-binary. No. They're gender fluid. So Bigfoot is a female. Bigfoot is a girl. And I believe, Bigfoot's female, and so is Mothman. Mothman's definitely a girl, because I just love the idea that the name is Mothman, but yet they identify as a woman, or as a female, or I don't know what Mothman would call them. It's just like the joke's right there, right? Did you just assume my gender? And there's a whole back and forth where Bigfoot goes, "Oh yeah, no, that makes sense because I'm named after my feet, and I don't really like my feet." So I see that. It's all about playing around with expectations, but the Jersey Devil's definitely male because we use he a lot. And yeah, so it's kind of like Dante's Inferno. It was really inspired by the book, The Real Jersey Devil, which I haven't finished yet. It was on my bedside table. I think I packed it. I got to double check where I put it. Never finished that book. And the story of the real story of the Jersey Devil is even more bizarre than the legend of the Jersey Devil. And it's basically where Ben Franklin trolled some dude in the 1700s, and then it eventually gave birth to our legend. So I don't want to digress too much, but I'm definitely going to put... Am I out of weight? Yeah, I am out of weight. So my plan for this was to put Oshun in Fortuna's hand. Actually, I think that might be dumb. I'm going to put Boney in her hand. Boney, you're going to live on in this painting. So I've been trying. I've discovered I hate heavy body acrylic. I bought nothing but I just put graphite in there, but I think it's going to have to be black, actually. I've been using heavy body... Yeah, peace out, dude. I'm gonna put this on the YouTube channel eventually, anyway. So whatever. Um, I've been using heavy body acrylic my entire artistic life. I mean, whatever. I'll use any paint that I get my hands on. I'll go get house paint. I've started getting back into oil because dudes like Frank always being like, "You should go try oil. It's so great." Blah blah blah. I don't want to get into the whole thing because I don't even remember everything, all the reasons why, but I know he was right. And oh yeah, that is so just gray on gray here. But I've always watered down my acrylic. I always wanted it to flow better. And then I recently discovered liquid acrylic. And I mean discovered in like the Christopher Columbus way. Like it was always there, and then I realized that it existed. And it's just so much. Wow, this looks like junk now. It just is so much better than having to use this heavy, thick paint because it just kind of flows better and it just makes my whole process. What bottles fell? Oh, I need that fallow blue. Fallow. I don't know how to pronounce any of this stuff. Oh my gosh, what time is it? I really should double check my time. I took my watch off. Oh, it's 10:40. I'm not going to paint for too much longer because I have a whole day of educating young people tomorrow. But liquid acrylic, it's my jam now. And it's not to. I'm not here to knock anybody who loves a heavy paint because the best part about a heavy, thick, heavy body acrylic is you can really build up with it. You can actually get a really nice depth. Like, look at this. This is just some. This is a bunch of Jerry's Artist Outlet, like opaque white mixed with black. And look how quickly I just covered over that whole area. Ugh, I can't. It's so great, this paint. I just spent so much time watering it down and then realized it was paint that was already watered down by actual paint mixing professionals, which I am not. I'm like I said today to my coworkers, I'm literally like a gorilla with a paintbrush. I don't know how to paint. I don't. I really don't. I totally avoided it, and Frank, if he was still here, would totally back me up. I took no painting courses other than painting one. No, not even. It was an art survey course. The only person who ever taught me how to paint in college was Wes Sherman when he was. I mean, now he's a professor, but he was a grad student back then, and he kind of gave me. He gave me as much advice as he could in the third of the semester we spent with him. Still, I use a lot of the techniques that he taught me, but. Great guy, great painter, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a sculptor. I don't need to know any of this. I'm going to get all my supplies from the Home Depot. Blah blah blah. Yeah, now all I do is paint. All I do is paint. I mean, do I do sculptures? Sure, but I even paint those sculptures. Which was fine, whatever. I think in my head I was like, oh, these painters seem really pretentious. I want to be out there in the workshop with the sculptors, like, playing with power tools. Oh, this is still really, really, really wet. This is the real problem with acrylic. But now all I do is teach painting and drawing. So joke's on me. Joke's on me. This is my punishment for being so uptight in college. But in my defense, it was right after September 11th. It was like a different time. But yeah, no, I'm getting close to the end of this. I think like I definitely think maybe the painters at Mason Gross at New Brunswick were a little bit pretentious. Like I think I did not like a lot of the painting professors, and I really was drawn to the sculpture department and the experimentation that I felt was going on back then. Loved Rudy Serra, but like you know, but yeah, no, I just really, 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 really wanted to do sculpture. No one buys dudes. No one buys sculptures. No one buys sculptures. There we go. And when they do buy my sculptures, it's because I call them paintings. I love sculpture because it's like you're taking the real world and messing around with it. I always wanted to be an installation artist. I looked at artists like Pepe Nosario, Willie Cole, who else? I don't know. I named a bunch of dudes. Who else? I don't know. I can't think of anybody right now. And I saw these sculptors, and I was just like, wow, they're really messing around with with the space and time. And I really like that. Now, like I'll look at like artists like Yvette Mayorga does a lot of interesting stuff right now. What's that one dude's name who does all the giant pinata projects? This is so bad. I literally teach these people to my students, and I can't remember their names. But alas, it's fine. I'll eventually talk about them later on in another stream. But all right, this is still. Yeah, it is like imperceivable because the black is like the same. It might also be this dang brush. The bristles on that brush are really, really, really coarse. No, it's because everything is wet and I'm just mixing and moving this gray around. I bet the black I'm using is probably the black I mixed with the white. Anyway, so we're not going to do much more on this. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to put Boney in her hand. And I think what I might do is put Fortuna in the back. Not Fortuna, this is Fortuna. Originally, I wanted to put her holding on to Oshun, but I don't think without actually having a an example. I don't really know how well that's going to work out, but whatever. Maybe I'll put Boney in her hands. If not, I think I might put Oshun in the background, almost like. Originally, I wanted to make Fortuna have 3 heads, past, present, future. Kind of mix the idea of the fates in with fortune, but I thought to myself, it's a very similar. It's very similar to the look of Satan in Dante's Inferno, or the first chapter or the first book of Dante's Divine Comedy is Inferno, where he's in hell, and he describes Satan as being like this giant 3-headed yellow, red, and black entity that he partially climbs to get out. And I felt like, yeah, if I made Fortuna like that, then it seems almost kind of disrespectful. Although I could make her African American looking, or make her look Haitian, because Oshun is, I believe, a Haitian. It's voodoo or hoodoo, or it might be a Santeria goddess. I don't know, but I gotta do my research before I start talking about stuff. But alas, we're getting to the end. So yeah, do all the things, like, subscribe. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe. More of these videos are coming. Every Thursday at 10, I'll be streaming. I'll let you know if I can't do it. I might be streaming more. I will try and announce on my Instagram, Instagram.com/davidlamorte. You can subscribe here for more live streams. Twitch should alert you whenever I'm about to do my thing. And then, yeah, all the socials is usually David Lamorte. Or you can go to davidlamorte.com. I need to get. I'm great at doing my social media. I'm just terrible at actually attending to the website I spend hundreds of dollars on every year. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. But that's it for me. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.